Well, happy morning to you. I just want to know, can you solve this in 1 minute? So as you are working on this problem, you want to save your answer until the time expires. So I know you're eager. You want to put your answers up. You got it. You want to keep it moving. But wait until the time expires. So if anything, you look and you're not sure where to start, that's okay. When the time expires, you can put a question mark. Okay? So we got 25 seconds. Can you solve this or simplify this, since we don't have an equal sign? That would be great. Okay. So we have 10 seconds. Hold on to your answers until the end. Lion. All right. So lion vs 2. Okay. 3 different answers. Or no, 2 different answers. All right. So any others? Thank you so much for coming on in. Just want to know if you can basically simplify this. So 24 divided by 3 times 2 minus the difference of 5 and 8 squared. Okay. Any other answers? All right. So let's take a gander. So since we have our equal sign, no equal sign, we should immediately think of your please, excuse, my dear, and Sally from left to right. Okay. So looking into the parentheses, first thing I see is my 5 minus 8. So 5 minus 8, or 5 plus a negative 8, that's going to give me a negative 3. So everything else comes on down. So now that we took care of the parentheses, now we want to deal with the exponent. So the only thing that's being raised to the exponent is the negative 3 that we just found. So negative 3 squared, that's the same as saying negative 3 times negative 3. So a negative times a negative will give us a positive, and 3 times 3 will give us 9. Yes, there is still a minus sign that's in front of that parenthesis. So we're going to still bring all that down. So now that we took care of the exponent, this is the key part that usually gets a lot of people. When you're doing multiplication or division, it doesn't give you the straight order because it all depends on what happens from left to right. So a lot of people, where they will make their mistake with this one is go ahead and multiply the 3 times 2. No, we have to take care of the division because that's the first thing that we see from left to right. So it's really going to be 24 divided by 3, which gives me 8. Then we bring everything on down. Okay, so it looks like we're still in the whole premise of multiplying or dividing from left to right. See, so now we got 8 times 2, so we're taking care of that multiplication, which gives us 16. Then we bring down the minus 9. Okay, so then we have our 16 minus 9, that gives us 7. Okay, so our answer here will be 7. So the key part that a lot of people always miss is when they get into the multiplying or dividing or the addition or subtraction. They forget they have to go from left to right. All right? So that's why you had to divide before you multiplied. Because if you did your 3 times 2 to give you 6, and then 24 divided by 6 gives you 4, and then all of a sudden you get an answer of a -5. Okay? So remember, from left to right, that's your crucial. This could be the reason why you keep missing your GED. Okay? This could be the reason why you just can't get to that 31. Because when you see order of operation problems, you forget about that left to right and you keep picking that wrong answer. All right? All right, good morning, everyone. So, let me set myself up again. Thank you so much for coming on down. Can you simplify this in 1 minute? Okay. And if you think you have your answer, hold on to the answer until the time expires. Okay? Got to control our urges. Hello, Vacation Venice. Hello, K Squared. Thank you so much for the follow. Okay. Nina, thank you. Olion, thank you. Okay. All right. So if you're not too sure what it is, once the time expires, put a question mark into the comments. Okay, so we're going to break this stuff down step by step. So we can kind of conquer this thing called math phobia. Let's conquer our fears today. Okay? All right. I see you, Sweet Kelly. Thank you so much. Mare, thank you. I see you. All right. Anyone else? What do we have? Okay, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Because even if you agree with someone, that will work as well. All right. Okay. Yep. And Max, we're not solving, but you're in the right place. Okay. So let's take a look. What we're doing here is called factoring. Okay. So what we're doing is we're going to be working on the distributive property in reverse. So first off, I always like to look to see my leading coefficient. So whatever has the highest degree, this is going to be my leading coefficient. If my leading coefficient is 1, I could just go right ahead and create my 2 sets of parentheses and split the variable. So that means there's an x in this one as opposed to x in that one. So now the hardest part that a lot of people have trouble with is how to fill the parentheses. So this is when we're going to look at the next set. So we have a -144 and we have a +18. So we want to know what 2 numbers multiply will give me a -144 and added to give me a +18. So some people, maybe some teachers, will probably either draw like a little representation. They'll say your AC will go up here and you rewrite your B here. So we're trying to get our -144, and this is multiplying, and then we rewrite our 18. So we got to think of what multiplied together will give me 144. So a lot of people will generally say 12 and 12. There you go, John. Okay, so if I said 12 times 12, that will give me my 144. And one of them has to be negative. So we can get our -144. But if I add those two together, same numbers, but if I add them together, I get a 0. But we're looking for 18. Okay? So, if we're trying for a 6 and 24, okay, this is when we're going to play around with numbers. So if you have 6 and 24, that will give me my 144, and one of them has to be negative. Because if I do my 6 plus a 24, okay, but one of them has to be negative. Which one is going to be negative? Hey, stepdaddy, there it is. I knew I was going to get a daddy out of here. Okay, so my 6 is actually going to be the one that's going to be negative. Because if I take my 24 and I subtract 6, I will get my 18. So if we take a look, we can have, say, our negative 6 here and our positive 24 here. And the reason why, because knowing those multiplication really can help us out. So since we have our factors, we're not doing anything more. Notice there wasn't an equal sign. Okay? Exactly. That's why we're not really solving, we're factoring. But can we do this problem is the name of the series. So this is when you simply stop. Okay? So that's why we got our x minus 6 and our x plus 24. All right? Okay? Yes. So it can be switched around because remember it's a product or the property of multiplication. So if you wrote x plus 24 and then x minus 6, that's fine as well. Okay? Okay. All right. Okay. Nope, the next step is not finding the zeros. This is all we're doing. All right, so let's get us ready for the next problem. So I want to know, oops, so as I can get my phone acting correctly. Okay, can you solve this in 1 minute? Okay. So go ahead. Okay. All right, can we solve this in 1 minute? So hold your answers. Do not put your answers in the chat. See ya. Okay. Hold your answers. Wait until the time expires. Okay. All right. Okay, let's try English again. Hold your answers until the time is up. It's a little hard, I know. You can tell that you really do not have control. You gotta learn a little control. Now, put your answers up. Okay, what do we have? Okay, math we have 3, rocket ship we have 3. Okay, rocket ship I saw your 3 already. Okay, Michelle we have 3, thank you. Okay, viral 3, thank you. Alright, Chris with 3, thank you. Okay, I saw the first answer, Chris, but thank you. Okay, praying hands, I see your answer. Is that Adu? Ooh, help me with that. Okay, I see your answer. Is that Anea? Is that Anaya or Anea? Okay. Alright. Alright, eCamp, I see. Alright. Is that low-key? I think I say it, so yeah. What's the last number? You can't read it. 16. Alright. So user 22, Bruce, I see you. No, I see you. Bruce Parker, I see you. Nana, I see you. All right. Okay. So as we're looking at it, so we have an equal sign, so we're definitely going to be solving. So first thing, let's see if we could, because since we got variables on both sides of the equal sign, we're not going to be able to do our little trick of just dividing on both sides. So we are going to distribute our 5 to everything inside of the parenthesis. So 5 times x gives us 5x. And 5 times 2, and since it's a positive 2, we got a positive 10. So we just bring everything else on down. Now, this is one thing that a lot of people generally do a little too much on. If I cover up my left side, I notice that right here, I have like terms. We got two constants. We can combine those two. So if you want, we have our 5x, which is right in front. But if we combine, so we have 10 plus a negative 3. Notice how I say it, okay? 10 plus a negative 3. So that means I had $10, I spent $3. So that means I have $7 left. Okay? So that's what came from here. Now we can bring down our equals, our 2x plus 16. Okay? So now let's focus on this part of the equation. Now, for some people, this is really difficult because we have our equal sign and we have variables on both sides of the equal sign. A lot of people will just forget the equal sign is there and just combine the 2 and the 5 and get 7x. But that's not the case. We have to do the inverse in order to move things from one side of the equal sign to the other side of the equal sign. So if you want, you can put your variable on the left-hand side. It really doesn't matter. But if I want to move this 2x to the 5x, I have a positive 2x. Not because of the plus sign, because the signage is always to the left of the number. So if we have a positive 2x, that means we're going to do the opposite. We're going to subtract 2x. And whatever I do on one side, I do on the other. So 2x minus 2x, that gives me 0. And I don't need to write down the placeholder because I still have the 16 that needs to come down. Okay. All right. So you don't do division before. You got to isolate everything, Skylar. Okay, you got to isolate everything before you can do anything. So now, over here, on the left-hand side, we have 5x minus 2x. So that will give me 3x. Bringing down the positive 7. Okay, there you go, sweet Kelly. All right. So now from here, the goal is to isolate our variable. Yep. So eCamp, I see you. So since it's a positive 7, that means I need to move that 7 over to the other side, the equal sign. So that means we're going to do the inverse of positive, which we're going to subtract. Okay? So positive 7, negative 7, that gives me 0 But I don't need that placeholder of 0 because I still have my 3x that needs to come down. And then 16 minus 7, that gives me 9. A positive 9. There you go. So now we want to get rid of the 3 so we can get x by itself. So we do the opposite of 3 times x by doing division. So 3 divided by 3 will give me 1x. And 1x and x means the same thing. So you don't have to divide both sides by 1, okay? So now 9 divided by 3 will give me 3. Okay? Notice how when we started off, let me move this up a little bit. When we started off, we were basically bringing everything funneling down to our answer. That's how you do it, okay? You can, after you get used to things, you can take shortcuts. But here's my thing. In order for you to understand the tricks, you need to understand the concept. So now you know why that trick really works. I know. I was like, that's why that trick be working. Oh, okay. All right. This is amazing. Good. All right. So I'm glad you're enjoying it. Now, here's my thing. There's going to be some people that is like, man, this is mad easy. This is not for you then. You know, I'm really talking to those people that always struggle with math, and for some reason now they have to take some kind of assessment, either Accuplacer because they're trying to go back to school, and you don't want to start off in a really low class and then you're going to be bored. And plus, you're going to be paying money for a non-accredited class. Or maybe you might have to get your GED. Maybe you're trying to get into the military, trying to score high on the ASVAB. So you're probably saying, I was never good at math. And this is the thing. You can be good at math. And I'm used to, trust me, I used to say the same thing. And now I'm a math teacher. Don't ask me how it is. That is nothing but God. Okay? So, and let's try one more. Can you solve this, oops, in a minute? Bring this down a little bit. Maybe not too much. Okay, you're trying for your ASVAB? Gotcha. Yep. You have on the ASVAB test. Yep, Killer King. I got you. Okay, you forgot how to do this? That's okay. I got you. The steps in. Okay, I got you. Alright. Okay. Alright, so we have, is that Chris? No, that's blank space. Then we have Jack, I see you. Here you go, there you go. Nappy, I see you. Math, I see you. Okay. Tyx, I see you. Okay, Angela, I see you. Okay, Michelle, I see you. Thank you so much, guys. And if you're not sure, put a question mark in the chat. Okay? Put a question mark. If you're just like, how are these people getting 15? Put a question mark in the chat. Okay? Alright, thank you. Okay, thank you, Asha. Thank you, Cookie. Thank you, Nappy. Thank you. Okay, Trig, I see you. Thank you, Priscilla. I see you. Okay, Brenda, I see you. Okay, Cooley, I see you. Chris, I see you with the 15%. Okay, David, I see you. Hello, David. How are you? All right. Okay, Jack, I see you. All right. Is it Yasin? Thank you so much for your honesty. Now, if I were to translate this from a verbal expression to an algebraic expression, we have 72. The word is. Is translates as equals. What percent? So that's my unknown. Okay, so I'm going to have that represent x. Of means multiplication. So that means I'm multiplying this x to 480. Okay? So when you get into things like this, some people just know off the top of their heads. Some people might need to see it as an equation. So the word is always equates equals. Okay? If you're whatever you're looking for, that's going to be your unknown. Of is always multiplication. So now, if I'm multiplying and I want to get x by itself, I have to do the inverse. So the inverse of multiplication is division. Okay. So now we basically have 72 divided by 480. Now this is when it gets a little tricky. And the reason why I say it gets a little tricky is because when you take the ASVAB and the Accuplacer, you can't use a calculator. So you're going to have to figure out ways on how to either simplify this ratio, or you're going to do long division. Okay? So just want to put that into your ear. So when we get this is the easier way that I like to think of it. Well, 72 and 480 are both even numbers. So I know if I did 12, I know I can get my 12s into the 72. But knowing that multiplication, you can either keep reducing it by 4s or reducing it by 2s until you get into an answer, or I like to play around with numbers. So I know 12, if I did 12 and 72, I would get another even number out. So when I 12, okay, yeah. So then I would get like a 6. But if I tried to reduce the 480 by 12, if I try to reduce the 480 by 12, that will give me 20. That will give me 40. What am I talking about? But then 640s can be reduced as well. Okay? 640s can be reduced as well. And 40, they're both even. So if I reduce this by 2, this will give me 3. And this will give me 20. So 3/20. Now that it's reduced a little bit, if I want to do the division, I can. Okay? But if I wanted to say bring this down and then do the division, you can. Because what are they asking for? They're not asking for the ratio. They're asking for the percentage. So I know I have to do my division. So I have my 3 divided by 20. Have my decimal point, add my 0. So how many 20s can go into 3? 0. How many 20s can go into 30? Well, that's 1. And that gives me 10. If I add another 0 and bring that bad boy down, now that 10 is 100. How many 20s can go into 100? We got 5. So 15/100ths is the same as saying 15%. Okay? Reason why I went a little bit of a long way? is to try to make these numbers a little more simpler. Okay? Okay. So if you want to, you could have gone straight with the division with the 72 and the 480. Well, obviously I'm going to need a decimal, adding a 0. So then I have to think 480, well, if I times 48 by 2, that's going to be more than 720. So I got my 1. So then you have your 480. Borrow from the 7 to make that 2 into a 12. So now you have 240. Add another 0. You have 2040. So 480 times 5 will give you exactly 2400. Okay. Then just flipped, okay? So now when you have your 1500s, remember when you're moving from a decimal to a percent, it's always out of 100. So I'm moving this decimal place over 2 places to the right. That's how we're able to get the 15%. Okay. All right. Okay. So the reason why I did all of this is to simplify it a little bit so I'm not dealing with such large numbers when I divide. Okay. But if you can use a calculator, TEAS test, you can use a calculator. GED, certain problems, they'll let you allowed to use a calculator. And if they have numbers like this, it's probably going to be something like that. Okay? All right. Now, one last one. It's everyone's favorite problems. Everyone. You're like, oh God, Audrey. Okay? See if you can solve this in 1 minute. Oh, thank you for the cowboy hat. Okay. Sinchan, hello, how are you? Okay, can we solve this in 1 minute? Okay, so hold your answers. That's nice. Okay, hold your answers. All right. Go ahead. Let me just be devil's advocate right here. Hello, here's my horns. How many of you guys saw this paragraph and you were like, nope, I'm gonna wait till she does it? Say me in the chat. And I'm expecting to see a river of me's. How many people, when as soon as you saw it was a word problem, you're like, nope, not doing it. Right? Thank you. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you, Bree. Thank you, Maestro. Okay. All right. Winter Wonder, I see you as well. Okay. So, yep, Ramona, thank you. And that's what happens. Yep, David, I see you. Okay. All these other answers, I see you as well. Sushi, I see you. Sweet Kelly, I see you. All right. Also, Matrix, I saw you. There was a couple other people. Shells, I saw you. Hey, Shells, welcome back. And then Sinchan, I saw you. I think there was someone else I skipped. Who did I skip? I think that was it. Oh, yeah, because this person did it multiple times. All right, cool. All right, so this is one thing we're going to have to. Whoa, wait a minute. You see it? All right. So this is one thing we're going to have to. These are the type of problems that I wouldn't give myself a minute for. Okay, all the other problems that we've done, we can actually, like this one, once I understand my multiplication, I can do this in a minute. This problem we can do in a minute. Okay, factoring, knowing our multiplication, definitely a minute. Okay, doing the order of operation, definitely less than a minute. Okay, but these type of problems, with the word problems, the time that you saved on doing these, this is where you would spend that little extra time. Give yourself some grace. So now, let's take a look at what the situation is. So for those that are new to me, this is how I solve word problems. The first place I would go is to the question. So we want to know, how old is Maya right now? Okay. Do we know anything about Maya? So I'm going to raise this up just a bit. And I'm going to say, all right, we got Maya. We need something to represent Maya. And the one thing we know about Maya is 3 times as old as her younger sister. So if we know that Maya is 3 times as old as her younger sister, but we don't know anything about the sister. So that means Leah, or Leia, depending on where you're from, is going to be my unknown. I'm going to use an X, so it's not so complicated. Okay? So if we're saying that Maya is 3 times as old as her sister, that means Maya has to be 3 times X. And we're not going to write 3XX, because that's porn. We're not doing that here, okay? So we don't need the X to represent the multiplication. Just by not having the plus or the minus sign between the 3 and the X, boom, we got that. But then they gave us some additional information. In 6 years, what's happening? The sum of their ages will be 36. So that means if I add 6 years to both Maya and Leah, it should equal my 36. Okay, there we go. Now we're starting to see people changing their answers, which is awesome. Okay, so that means if I take Maya, which is 3x, I'm going to add 6 years to her. And if I take Leah, which is x, and I'm going to add 6 years to her as well. And they're saying the sum, so that means we are adding, and it's going to equal 36. Okay, you see how we're putting it all together? So now we can basically solve this equation for Leah, but then use that information to find Maya. Okay, so a lot of people that were telling me like 10s and 6 and all that stuff, here we go. So we have 3x plus x. The reason why I'm saying that is because these x's are on the same side of the equal sign. So if you have 3x's here and 1x there, that means we have 4x combined. Then you have your 6 plus your 6, that gives you your 12. Now I'm just going to bring down my equals 36. Okay. Now, solving for x. So don't worry about what you did previously. Worry about what you're working on now. So we want to get x by itself. So what do we need to do? I need to move this 12 over to the other side of the equal sign. So the opposite or the inverse of plus is minus. And whatever I do on one side, I must do on the other side of the equal sign. So these 12s will give me a 0. I don't need the 0 because I still have that 4x that needs to come down. So I don't need the 0 as a placeholder. But now 36 minus 12, 6 and 2, that's 4. 3 and 1, that's 2. There we go. So now we're going to divide because 4x is 4 times x. Now we're looking at the inverse. So that means we're going to divide 4 on both sides. 4 divided by 4 gives me 1x, or just simply x. 1x and x means the same thing. 24 divided by 4 gives me 6. X equals 6. Who is x? Put it in the chat. Who's representing x? Okay, who's representing x? Okay, Callie, I see you. Chris, I see you. World of Love, I love that. I see you. Okay, Cookie, take a look again. Sweet Kelly, Tide, take a look at it again. The Baddest, good. Shells, okay, I see you. Rhonda, I see you. Flizzimo, I see you. Okay, Taj, I see you. Okay, Hibiscus, I see you. Michelle, I see you. There you go, Cookie. I see you. There you go, David. Okay, there you go. So this is Leah or Leia, depending on where you're from. So she's 6 years old. But we're looking for how old Maya is right now. So that means we got to take this 6 and plug it in for the x. So that means Maya is going to be 3 times 6. And we all know that 3 groups of 6 is 18. So Maya is 18 years old. Okay? All right? So taking it through step by step. So more practice with it so it won't be so intimidating. So as you're looking at this, no problem, Hibiscus, as we're looking at all of these, and we looked at different concepts. Okay, so we did an age problem, which if you're trying to get into your GED or the ASVAB, they love age problems. Age problems and distance, rate, and time problems. Love those as word problems, okay? But then we also worked on percentages. Okay, we also worked on solving equation when you have a variable on both sides of the equal sign with distribution. So this is called a multi-step equation. We also worked on factoring, and we worked on order of operations. So we did quite a few things. Okay, we did quite a few things in a short amount of time. Okay, putting yourself out there. Wait, hold on. Why are we putting yourself out there? Okay, took the GED 9 times, can't pass the math to save your life. Now, Callie, now you got something to support you. I hope you feel that way. Okay, and it doesn't matter how many times you take it, because once all of a sudden it hits and you pass it, all that hard work that you put into it, and who was chiming in with you? Hibiscus, the same thing. Okay, and there is no shame in it. Hell, it took me 11, 1, double ones, okay, 11 times for me to pass the praxis, for me to be a teacher. Okay? It doesn't matter how long it's been. The fact that you're working towards it and you're trying, and I'm hoping you're seeing that now you got someone to break things down. Okay? Can I flip them again? What do you mean, Sherry? Okay. Yes. Fractions? Yes. And here's how you understand your fractions. Do you know your multiplication? Like, do you know your times table at least up to the 12s without looking at a calculator? And the areas that everyone gets is the 6. Oh, sure. Okay, so the ones that everyone usually gets is the 6 times table. This is the first one. The 7 times table, the 8 and the 9s. Everyone always gets those mixed up. Okay, this is the other one. So now that we've actually did some practice problems, what are you going to do with this stuff? Okay. Okay, you know your times tables? Awesome. In Florida? Yes. But see, here's my thing. Understanding the concepts, and then here's the thing about standardized tests. You cannot treat it like it was a test in the classroom. That's your first mistake. You cannot treat those standardized tests like it was a regular classroom test. You're not going to pass. You're going to have to be strategic with everything that you do. Okay? So I'm going to whip out my learning tree. So this is what I mean. If you struggle with any of these, okay, and especially fractions, maybe not so strong. Fractions is basically division. But knowing the multiplication, now you can know the inverse of division. Knowing your decimals, knowing your percents. These are the roots of all mathematics. So if you feel shaky or you only can do it by a calculator, okay, and I'm talking like two-digit problems, okay, not so much three, but the 2 digits. If we are weak with this, it's not saying that you can't have a tree. You're going to get a tree, but it's going to be a weak trunk, okay? Because, one, when that tree was planted, that tree didn't have a decision. Just like you. You didn't have a decision what school to go to. You didn't have a decision what teacher you were going to have. You didn't know about the classmates. You didn't know about your abilities, but you just survived. But without having these strong, you're going to struggle with the algebra, which in turns, you're going to struggle with everything else. There is geometry in those set examinations. There is Algebra 2. SAT, ACT goes up to and including Algebra 2. So if you're trying to do college math, it's going to be hard because you don't have the algebra because we're not so strong with our roots. Okay? Not a problem. So we're just trying. Yeah, there's good ways. Are there good ways to memorize your times table? I mean, you can use flashcards. I have flashcards if you want to do that, just so you can remember, because it's all about grouping, Priscilla. Okay? It's all about grouping. So, like, how many... I'm going to steal this dot that's right here. So, it's almost like 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. So, if I had 8 dots right here, it's like, what are the multiple ways of putting 8? So I can have just one group of 8. I can have 2 groups of 4. Okay? To figure out how I want to group my dots nice and easily. No, don't feel dumb. No. Because that's the thing. At least I appreciate you putting yourself out there. Because there's tons of people. Some of them are still here, and a lot of them felt, ooh, she's about to get real, let me go. I appreciate the fact that you're putting yourself out there. Because that has to go. Yes. So even if you have to start backwards, you're not really starting backwards with the tree. This is the thing. You can always uproot a tree if it's not that strong and put it in a situation where you get more nutrients. You get more sun, you get more water, okay? You get more support. So now you can always grow. You never have to stay in the same place where you are. Never. Okay? So you can always be transported. And what happens? The roots will regain strength. Then all of a sudden, you got a stronger tree. Okay? So, no, don't feel slow. Don't ever feel slow. And this is the main reason why I developed my Algebra at Your Pace. I have like a whole series of books that they're not just regular workbooks, that you can actually get a QR code of me explaining concepts. Like say for instance, this one is square roots. Once you scan the QR code, there's going to be a video and you're going to take down the notes and then you're going to be given practice problems. So it's just like having me as a tutor, but a lot less cheaper. Okay? And on top of it, you get tons of practice problems that you can just try to solidify what you're doing. Because that's the one thing about when you come on TikTok or you just watch YouTube videos. It's great to watch the videos, but you're watching it as a spectator, not so much as a student. So then when you try to do stuff yourself, you get lost. And you're trying so hard to remember what that person said. Okay? Yep. Okay. So what I also do is I put reference pages. Because most notebooks, they only give you like one page and you have no idea. But I made it colorized. So if you need help with the rules of integers, someone said something about decimals, okay? Then also the same thing about fractions, like what to do, just as a basic reminder. Then how to translate from percent to decimals, decimals to percent, and all that fun stuff. And even order of operations. This is how we do it in the States, but this is what they refer to as most international and also Canada do. They do BODMAS. But it's the same concepts, right? Then you have your properties of exponents. All of this is in here. If you don't understand your fractions, I got tons of factors to help you do with the factoring. Okay, so even when we were doing that 144, just what we did earlier, here's 144. Here are all the factors of 144 that we could use. And the one that we used was the 6 and 24, because then I can say, oh, which ones am I going to subtract? And everyone's saying, well, you can't use this on the test. Exactly. But you need to use these things for practice so you can solidify your thought. In my profile, yes, Priscilla, yes it is. Okay? So that will take you straight there. Okay? This is the first book, but I have a lot of books, all of them, especially for the Algebra at Your Pace. It's a whole series. Let me put it this way so you can see it. So it's a whole entire series of 10 books. Okay? So it starts with the integers, the decimals, and the exponents that I just showed you. Now, here's another thing, because I'm really big on flashcards. In the back of the first book, I actually give you some flashcards to work with, so you're working on exponents. Okay? So to really solidify your thought, you can make copies of this. Okay? There's a whole... Sorry, I'm trying to do 50 things at once. Let's try just doing 2. Hi, here we go. Okay, so it's a whole page. This side is the question. This side is the answer. And you can quiz yourself. Yep. And the colors are very helpful. That's why if you try to purchase this, okay, remember we were doing the word problems? Hey, there's of right there for multiplication. So this is why I like to do colors, because it attracts your eye. And you will have me breaking down each of these concepts. Okay? So you have your integers and decimals, you have your solving equations, you have your linear equations, your quadratics, everything is there. Okay? Page is intimidating, but here's my thing. You need for the GED test? Correct, Lucia. Yep. All of this is basically based off of the GED, the ASVAB, and the Accuplacer, okay, and the beginning of the TEAS test. So I took a look at all those exams in order to see what exactly you will need in order to pass. Now, on top of all of this, you also get practice books. So I have 2 of them. So the first practice book is your practice exams for the GED Accuplacer. So what it is 6 full-length tests that you can sit down. So like here, I can sit down and just quiz myself. Practice the way that you're going to test. So when you do this, you can sit down, time yourself, and see what you can do. It does come with an answer key, but there is also a concept that you can look at my video answer key. Okay, so I do. All of these are in the link in my profile. Okay, it's under my Stand Store. So if you want the practice exam, there's just the one with the book, or there's the one with the video explanation. So all 210 questions, I actually broke down step by step to show you how to do it. Okay, so if you like that, if you're doing my ASVAB people and you want the math practice books and you want more something like the arithmetic reasoning, okay, oops, let me unclip. Had a show the other day. Okay, so if anything, you can always print them out. Notice you get 4 to a page. So this book in particular has like 135 questions. If you want, you can get the digital book and print it out. That will definitely be more economic, okay? So you can do the individual books, and I also have bundles, which I call systems, okay? Looks very necessary, because it is. So if you're trying to pass it, so you know, some people are like, oh, I want to buy the book, I'm buying the book. If you have access to a printer, I would definitely take these and just print them out. And you can get the electronic version. As soon as you put everything in, it'll be sent to your email and you can get started as easy as today. But if you do want to go to the A, okay, I can't really say the A, but let me show you. And then we can be skedaddly done. Alright, so let me take us back to our TikTok. Ooh, up close and personal. Alright, one moment. So, if you go to TikTok, you go and click on my profile, okay? So now you will see Stand Store, Math by Audrey. Click onto that. And it will take you directly to my Stand Store. Okay. So when you go up, this is one thing I would love for you guys to do. Give a try with the free math checkup. Okay, everyone should do this. Even if you want to purchase something, hey, this is something that's free to see where you are mathematically. If you look at some of the problems, you're like, I don't even know how to start or where to start with any of this, then you are messaging me. You are going to send me a DM here on TikTok and say, hey, Audrey, I tried the checklist. I'm not sure if I got them right. You can take a picture of it and send it to me in my DMs and let me take a look at it. And then we can actually figure out a plan of attack, because maybe you might need tutoring, okay, which I have here. Maybe you might just want to go straight to the books, okay, but then I have my Math Confidence Starter, okay, so this one comes with the first 2 volumes and the video explanation of the first volume, all right. So then you have your foundation systems, but as we go through it, you have the individual books. So if you don't know where to start, I always say go with the starter. Go with the Math Confidence Starter. Okay? So that will be like the 42. But if you're just like, yeah, Audrey, I want everything you got. So that is going to be the complete ebook. Okay? That's with the video answer keys. Okay? So that's the cost of that. I'm just showing you. But then you can keep going. If you just want to try one of the books, pick a book. Okay? These are all digital copies. Okay? I don't want to sit here. So you see all of the books. So if you want to say, I don't know, geometric functions, you're like, yeah, I need help with that. Then you could take a listing. You could take a look what's in it before you purchase it. Okay? Give me an idea of what we're taking a look at. So I like for people to ask questions before you purchase, because I don't want you to be like, oh, I thought it was this. And then if I go all the way down, I'm going to do it really fast so you don't have to, I don't know, get dizzy. But if I want the practice book like I showed you, this is just the book itself, okay, without the video. Same thing, just the same book that I showed you earlier without the video. But then the ones with the video solutions, that means with the video answer keys, that's this one. And with the video answer key, that is this one. Hello, pretty Patty. How are you? Can you help us target what you should purchase? Yes, Priscilla, definitely. Okay. Which one do I recommend for the GED test? All of them. All of them. But if you're talking about the practice test, I would recommend getting to know your concepts before you practice. This is almost like towards the end, because if you're going to try to figure it out on the way, you're basically doing the same thing that you're doing now. Okay? So my suggestion, do the practice test, write it down on a piece of paper, take a picture of it, and send it to me. So then when I take a look, I'm going to contact you. I'm going to ask you, hey, let's take a look. Let's talk it out. I don't think there's anyone that does that. It's usually like, this is what I'm selling. Go ahead and buy it. But maybe you don't need to start at book 1. Maybe I should say, you know what, you're strong here, but we got to work on this. So start on book 3. Or maybe start on volume 4. Or maybe start at volume 2. Or say, hey, you got this. You're about to take the test next week. Go for the practice test. Okay? Okay, you need for ASVAB, so you recommend that? Yes. Yep. Because all of this is what's on the ASVAB, what's on the GED. I know it sounds like 2 separate tests, but they're exactly the same. Instead of saying Mary went down to the street, they'll say the staff sergeant told the private to go down to the barracks to do blah. Okay? Same concepts. Okay? Not a problem. So if you ever want any references, maybe for you, maybe for your students, maybe for your kids, I have a lot of flashcards here. So a lot of people were asking about all the formulas. I have formula flat review cards here for formulas. And if anything, multiplication is your thing, I already got flashcards for you. These are as integers. They could be positive, negative, or negative, negative. Okay, so you're practicing not only your multiplication, but also your signage. Okay? All right, and then one of my lives, I'm probably going to go over a little bit with the linear equations, and also I'm probably going to go over the functions. All right, but if you definitely need the physical books, you can order it here. Okay, I have a link that will take you directly to the physical books. Alrighty. So this is the conclusion of this, but if you do have any questions, please ask. Okay, I'm going to answer. Sometimes it may not be right away, but I am going to answer. Okay, so if you ever have any kind of questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Alrighty, so any questions before I end the live? Because now I have to go and do life stuff. Okay. Well, I hope you guys had a good time. Hold on. Thought I saw somebody typing. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed what was going on and you learned some stuff. So that's the main thing. But we need to do an application to what you learn so it can stick in your brain. Hey Mel, how are you? Okay, I was just about to sign off. All right, everyone? Okay. All right. Well, have a lovely day. I will see you again tomorrow morning at 7:45 a.m. with another set of Can You Solve This in 1 minute? All right. Talk to you soon. Oh, and before you guys skedaddle, actually, if you want to see the replay of my stuff, again, if you go back to that Stan store, in between Facebook and LinkedIn is the YT channel. I don't know why I keep saying that. Okay? So if I click on that, it will take you directly to my YT channel. And if you scroll, go ahead and subscribe. It's all kinds of fun. If you scroll, you'll see a lot of the shorts that I've done, but then you also see all of my TikTok lives. So this is the one from yesterday. That was the one from the day before. Okay? And if you just hit on it, you can see all of my videos. Okay, all my videos from TikTok is all there. Okay, so that will just give you another look. Just give me about this is about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours for me to upload this one. Alrighty? Okay, well, have an amazing day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Alright, bye now.